how do we take our creative like circle? So like if I'm like the audio worship production guy and you're the camera guy, the social media, you're the brand guy. Like what's the intersection and how does that play out at church?
I think church creative looks different for every church.
Because the person in the back isn't going to notice if I did the animation on twos or whatever, or like if this, line didn't wiggle the same frame rate as this other one because I messed up in the code.
Because ultimately, like, being creative is just thinking outside the box.
It's the one worship guy that has a Canva Pro account, right?
Creativity is good. I think sometimes people are afraid, especially in the church world, to get creative.
It's okay to want excellence. If we're on stage and it's a 1/3, but I hit the one.
Your bass player's holding it down.
Bass player's holding it down. It's all right.
We just stopped doing stuff because it didn't make sense.
We're here. First podcast episode.
We did.
We're actually, it left the group chat.
Yeah, relatively quickly also.
No.
Like we talked about it a little bit, but then we were like, no. Let me explain.
No. Okay.
We're talking about a podcast, and then we're like, should we do this? And then I like mocked up the brand in 2 days, and we're like,
cool, looks
all
good.
right.
Yep. Yeah. And then we turned it into like, hey, what if this turned into something more than a podcast?
If we did a thing.
A YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Social media thing. We're not there yet.
Yeah, but I think that's naturally.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
And then we dragged him in and said,
we need a pastor on site.
We need a pastor on site.
We need a real pastor.
Oh, yeah. No, you
we need a real pastor. Okay, on that note, so first episode, we're here. Church creatives. I'd say we're kind of all live in that space. But I thought maybe a good kickoff or a good first episode is just having the conversation of what does a church creative look like? What does our jobs look like? Because we all have very different jobs and very different roles. We have very different skill sets, stuff like that. So what would it look like to come alongside churches and just help them just from our experience, not necessarily from we know what we're doing all the time, but more so
we did this and it worked.
We did this and it worked. And or just here's what we're learning. I think that's a big thing. Cause I don't know that there's really anybody in this space, online, that is doing this type of stuff, because I think church creative looks different for every church.
Yeah.
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 It can look structurally. It looks different.
Well, because you always kind of run into staffing.
Yep.
It's who are your church creative staff people if you have them?
Yep.
And then what's their job? Because you could say a church creative is the person that makes your teaching slides. And sure, maybe it's a Pro Presenter template or a Canva template or whatever. There's a level of creativity. I think what we're discovering here is how do we take our creative circle? So if I'm the audio worship production guy and you're the camera guy, the social media, you're the brand guy. What's the intersection and how does that play out at church? I don't I think it's pretty rare that there's only three of us.
Yeah.
And there's more creatives on our church staff, but that we make up a team that helps to be create things for our services across all of our campuses. That's pretty rare for a church. Mm-hmm. So I think hopefully people watching or listening this will be helpful.
Yeah.
There's people doing the thing that I'm doing as well.
Yeah. So let's start there. So we are all on staff at a church, and we all play different roles. The way our church is staffed, we have a central team, which me and Noah are on. We have campus teams, which Anton primarily serves. You also have a central role, which is crazy. So why don't we start there? Why don't we talk about what all of our jobs are? What does our role entail? Because like I said, it is really unique. What you're saying, that we all have different skill sets and different kind of jobs within the church to be able to work together. So why don't we start there? No, what's
the elder statesman?
The one who's been here the longest.
Yeah.
What is your job?
7 years. Graphic designer. Came on in 2019 to a team of 6 artists, videographer, and graphic designers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What year was that? That would have been
2019.
2019.
End of 2019.
Right before COVID.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
Big team.
We're gonna have to tell that story eventually.
Yeah.
From the
day.
big thing to the small thing and how that works.
Yeah.
That's later. We'll do that later.
Yeah. Running the graphic arts. Oh, well, actually, it's an arts department now.
I would say your job has shifted over the last like few months.
Yeah, recently became the art director. But for the last 3 years, it was the graphic arts department. Tyler joined
Year ago.
last year.
Yeah.
Last year in January.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
That feels like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we handle basically everything digital, print, across 7 campuses, central campaigns, campus requests when necessary. Yeah, it's hard to.
But also, like, I think part of your new role is like set design and look for weekend services.
Yeah, that I think that like goes hand in hand with series design, or I think it should. Like if you think of the church as a brand, and then you could think of the series as like a sub brand, at least visually, trying to like kind of lasso all those components: digital, print, slides, video, stage design, worship backgrounds,
right,
slide decks, handouts, bumpers. I'm going through the list of our.
It's a big one.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
We have templated solutions every time we're doing a series.
Yeah.
I think my Photoshop file is up to like 10 artboards for all the applications per series.
Yeah. I think too, like what even in my first year, what I've seen is like, I mean, you've had to be hands-on for so long because quite literally you were the only like arts team member. Like we didn't have an arts department. We had one, then we didn't. Now we do again. Because you were like the one-man team. So you were both hands and feet of all things creative while also trying to like play this role of like 1,000-foot view, the creative direction for our church, branding, stuff like that. And like being able to see now you step into that with us just changing like the way we structure our team and me coming on in the last year and Anton coming in a central role and all that type of stuff. Yeah, you're boss man now. Noah's my boss.
A little bit.
Technically now he's my boss.
Not my boss.
No, not his boss.
Not Anton's, just mine. And the rest of our team, which is just me.
Yeah.
And him.
100% of the team.
Yeah, it's cool. Anton, what's your job?
Yeah.
Here.
My primary job is like one of our campus, our Brighton campus, worship pastor. So I'm like in the trenches, so to speak, right? So I've got a team of volunteers, interns, or we have like an apprentice program. We have our production pastor, who's in charge of that team and the technical aspects of our service. When I started, I was the worship guy. I came in, plan, lead worship services, develop teams. But my experience kind of came from the central world. So a multi-campus church, leading other worship leaders and worship pastors. So that's kind of where my central job comes in. A lot of it's budget and pay the bills and stuff. But really, it's kind of taking our vision as a church and what does that look like for our services and for other campuses. So we have documents like our vision value statements that are kind of being reworked. That kind of is something I've been working on. And really, trying to take our vision, apply it to our services, and then incorporating like creative elements like brand and all of that. So it's good. And then I got to work with you guys on the creative team and figure out what those things look like at all of our campuses.
Yeah. So you also have a like extensive background in audio and music. We always joke that like you're the audio guy. Yeah. It's not really a joke because he really is the audio guy. And so you bring that experience too. I think that's like super pivotal. One thing you mentioned is, so we do have like a creative team at our church that basically is us three. Our senior pastor sits on it. Our communications and our boss, the weekend.
Yeah.
She's got all sorts of jobs. Weekend director, communications.
She's my
director.
boss too, but
technically your boss too, in a different way. Maggie, she sits on that team. So it's basically us five. I don't know that we have that totally like fleshed out. I think that's something we're figuring out, like what that looks like.
It's relatively new.
Because it's like super new within the last year. And so that is, I will say, I feel like that's where a lot of the ideas get sprouted in that meeting.
Yeah,
in
for
those
sure.
meetings, we meet, I don't know, once a month, once every other. I don't even know what the structure is anymore. So yeah, that is kind of a part of our jobs is to like sit on this like creative team.
Yeah.
Okay, so my job is I got brought on a year ago as like our digital engagement pastor is technically my title. What that means, I don't know.
Who knows?
But originally when I got hired, it was essentially to oversee all of digital strategy. So like social media, website, ads, YouTube, video, kind of overseeing video.
Video by default.
Video by default, just because
Yeah.
a lot of like online content is video. So like we used to have a big video agency that we worked with that we don't anymore. And so we, so when I got brought on, it was basically like, I basically got told, hey, we just want to up our game online, essentially.
Yeah.
And so I have like background, I started my career in like student ministry. Then I went to digital marketing for, 4 or 5 years. And then here I am back in the church world. And so, so I started off by overseeing all of that. That quickly shifted into like we made some shifts organizationally to let go of a video agency we were working with, who's doing great work, but we were just trying to figure out, hey, what are some ways we can save money? What are some ways that we can...
it's budget, which almost everything comes down to.
It always is.
Yeah.
But also like I've got a pretty extensive video background. So like it kind of made sense for us to like say, hey, even if we like cut down on the video needs that we have at our church for a season, let's get rid of this agency that we were working with. And then we can just step in and kind of do it ourselves, which has its pros and cons. I mean, I think that's like, I think there are some days where we're like, oh, this is really great that we're not paying somebody $8,000 to do a big project and we're doing it on our own time. But then there's other days where we're like, yeah, we just pulled off a massive project between the three of us, basically. And we're exhausted, but that's part of the role. So I feel like my job, I oversee all of digital. Over the last year, it's really turned into a lot more video production, Sunday mornings, like live stream type of stuff. We do have a production pass. So the way our church, so we're 7 campuses, we broadcast. We don't call it our broadcast campus, but we broadcast from our Brighton campus. And so that's where it was happenstance that's where we'd already been attending for a long time.
Right.
So like it kind of made sense to step into that role of, we have a production pastor here. Hunter is the man. And so I work hand in hand with him of kind of hands and feet video production on Sunday morning. And so for our live stream, but then also for social content and all the fun stuff. So that's kind of what we do. So we are really unique. We are like really unique in like the fact that we all have different jobs. We have different roles, different skill sets. Most churches don't have that. Like, just to be frank, most churches don't have what we have here. I would argue that majority of churches, I know the ones that I've worked at in the past, don't have, like I think of the last church I was at, basically the one and only creative guy was the worship guy. Like, he was leading worship. All of the weekend experience was on him. He was creating slides, any video elements he was trying to put together, any type of like creative element was on him. So it was kind of like a one-man team. Like,
he's the artist on staff at a lot of places.
Right. Yeah, totally. And so I feel like a church creative tends to wear a lot of different hats. So like for you guys, what would you define, or like what would you say when you think about someone being a church creative? Is it just that they're the artist on staff, or is it like, what would you define like a church creative as?
Big question.
Is my answer. It's not the artist on staff. Because like our first impressions team, they have to be creative. Comms has to be creative. I think every role requires creativity. I think when you say church creative, though, what we and the general populace is talking about is artists. So worship pastors, videographers, visual arts. That's actually what the team used to be called before you guys got here. It was visual arts.
So what people are seeing, basically?
Yeah.
Or experiencing, or?
Yeah, creating, digitally creating,
Yeah.
or practically creating.
Yeah.
You talk about, what do you call? You're talking about like the worship, not auditory arts, or experiential. Is that what you called it? Well, yeah. What do you
Oh
say?
yeah. So like there's the difference between like kind of your felt, like the felt creativity, like
Mhm.
the felt thing, which is you walk into a room and you see and hear, like there's a style to it. Like that's a feeling that you have. You feel the sound, the decibel levels, you feel the color of the lights or whatever. And then you have like the experience is uh like when you walk in and somebody hands you a 4-up card. Like you're holding a thing and you're reading and it's branded and it's got information. And so you're kind of holding these two sides of creativity or communications even.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, when we talk about church creative, are you talking about the thing that you're feeling, like you see and hear things and they're intentional, or are you experiencing the information in a certain way? So like when we talk about brand,
Mm-hmm.
the reason we care so much about brand and style is because that's the clearest way for us to communicate the information that we have.
Right.
And that's the gospel is that's the thing that we're communicating.
Yeah.
So if it's an event, we need to communicate the time and place so that people can come and experience the gospel. Or we say here at our church, like helping people take next steps. Well, we're constantly saying that, but people are going to experience it in different ways based on the brand or the flyer or the 4-up or the whatever. So like when when we say church creative, we're kind of talking about those two things.
Yeah.
And first impressions and parking lot team and the women's ministry, like all of those departments, those areas of ministry have to be creative in the same way.
Yeah.
So where we kind of land is helping define what those experiences and felt things are for people.
Yeah. Giving creative direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting, I kind of had this like realization a few weeks ago, actually, when we started talking about like doing this thing. My like view of like creativity at church has drastically changed so much over the last few years. Because when I first started my career in ministry, I was in student ministry, next gen ministry. Never thought I'd leave it. Just put that out there. But my like experience with that was that I thought creativity, how do I say this? I thought creativity was tied to the idea of next gen, or the idea, like I thought creativity came from, well, it's for kids because students need something creative. They need something different. It was never even in my world, in my like understanding of ministry, of like creative arts, basically. That was never like, the good way to put it is like, oh, we need a creative element, let's bring in the student guy. Like that's
Right.
like
Oh,
almost
right.
like show pony-ish a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's just how you engage people is through creativity. And like it was equivalent to me of creativity equaled fun equaled creativity, and that was it. Like I never even thought of like, it was just so different for me because that was the world that I lived in. Yeah, God's blown that idea up quite a bit.
That's actually, so when I first started working here, I think you could objectively say creativity equaled fun. So
Yeah.
we as a church, our demographic has changed. But when I started, it was much more, I joke about this. It was like peak, not when I started, but like how we were operating was like peak office. So like sarcasm,
Yeah.
like kind of deadbeat,
Michael Scott
Everywhere.
comedy, cringe comedy, really,
Right.
which has kind of since COVID like shifted a bit. Like that's not I mean, cringe is still like a thing, but
it's internal now.
yeah, like we did for Father's Day we did a Old Town Road remix
Yeah.
to Mow My Lawn.
John was riding the lawnmower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Oh,
riding
man.
the lawnmower. They did a whole like music video, and that was creative because it was funny.
Right.
It was also creative, and it took like it was a big project, but like
Yeah.
I think we as a visual arts team back then was like, okay, well, how do we we're talking about the woman at the woman at the well may not be like a good example, but like a sermon series on something, and we're like, okay, how do we make it funny or like tongue in cheek?
Yeah,
because that's what creativity is. And what you're saying, and what I've realized in the last few years is like, it's okay to be funny, and it's okay to kind of have that mindset to be able to draw people in. You're not being manipulative. You're being, I think, smart.
Right.
But you have to be careful. But like creativity can be. I get slacks from campus staff all the time. Like, hey, we're thinking about doing this with like this asset that you made, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And it serves their campus better. When I made this handout, I wasn't thinking of it going on a 2x3 sign insert that people are walking by and they can grab. I thought they were going to put it on the table, but I'm thinking like, oh, the way their lobby is designed and the way they're walking in, it's one way in, one way out, so they can see it both ways. And if they skipped it the first time, they'll probably grab it the second time. Like stuff like that, where it's like, that's the creativity that you need to have.
Yeah.
At a church, whether you're an artist or not. And you should be pushed by your leaders and your peers to like be creative.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, like I think of the video, the like ride my tractor, whatever we called it.
Mow my lawn.
Ride my tractor. Like I think of, well, my head goes in two different directions. One is like creativity is good. I think sometimes people are afraid, especially in the church world, to get creative, because ultimately, like being creative is just thinking outside the box. Like it's thinking about doing something differently or representing something differently in a way that might resonate with either more people or a different type of person or a different like subset of people. Like that's ultimately like what creativity is. So I think of like that video, and I think of like that probably was tied to like what church culture was in, I don't know, 2019, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
2020, right after COVID. Like, I think that the shift that we've made in creativity here at our church, where we've gone kind of away from the like super, I mean, we still do that stuff. I mean, we just did a massive, our fall kickoff series last year was this massive, like fun, energetic,
Dude Perfect
funny,
style.
Dude Perfect.
Yeah.
Like we basically made a Dude Perfect video
Like
with our
the
campus
branding was
pastors.
football and
Yeah.
all
Like
that
it
stuff.
was
It
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
But not everything creative has to be like that.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably tied to like a culture shift in, I don't know if you could say the Americanized church or the Western church, but like definitely here. I mean, I think of our Easter project that we're doing right now. Like there ain't nothing fun or funny about it.
No.
But it's extremely creative. It's extremely different. So like when you guys think about the connection of like church culture and creativity, what have you guys experienced? Because again, we've come from different church backgrounds. We have had different experiences in ministry. What would you say you've seen like the connection of like church creativity and how that has shifted in our own experience over the last, I don't know, 5 years? COVID changed a lot of that, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know. What have you guys like experienced that way?
I think like here at our church, we used to have that like we probably would have described ourselves as an attractional church.
Yeah.
And that has had lots of different meanings in lots of different times. But attractional for us was kind of that like funny, engaging, but it was attractional because it was fun. We did a lot of fun stuff, and like our youth and like students ministry was giant and was fun. And I think the shift that we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years here is like, that's good, but we want to be attractional because the gospel is attractional, and engagement can look different than just like throwing a party.
Yeah.
And so I think like creatively, one of the shifts we've seen is bringing way more intentionality to the times that we are creative, like or doing a big creative project. So where before we might just shoot a music video because it was like on the calendar. Now it's like, well, let's shoot a music video because we're going to intro these songs for the next 4 months. and like this is kind of the seed for that. So there's intentionality behind the video, but that gets engagement online. People are asking, hey, when's the next one or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's engaging, and attractional in a way. Or even like our Game On series thing. Like that was a big lift for us as a creative team, but the intentionality was, how do we engage people in a fun way a couple times a year so that they know more about what our church is about, but also like what it looks like to get in the game, or whatever the tagline was for that series, to follow Jesus. So like I think the biggest shift we're seeing here is a shift from attractional to intentional engagement.
Yeah. Genuine.
Genuine.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because I do think, who we would hope is listening to this or watching this is somebody who's in ministry, works at a church, or on staff in a ministry of some sort, and plays one of these like creative roles, or plays all of them, wears all the hats. I do think that there probably was we're all in our, you're still living in your 20s. We're in our 30s now. And like, I would say it, like in my mind, when I was even in like Bible college, maybe even high school, post college, like around that era, like that time, I always equated attractional church is creative. Like if you're not an attractional church model, you don't need to be creative, because that's what they do. Right. It's not what we do. Right. Like I grew up in a big mega church, 13 campuses, but we weren't the attractional church model. Like we were Baptist rooted, like pretty intentional, but like not over the top creative. And so like in my mind, that's what I equated, was like, hey, creativity equals attractional model. And, the typical thought process there is like, well, then there's no depth and blah, 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 blah. And like, but I think that is one thing, because like you said, like the shift that we have made over the years, because so I've only been on staff a year, but we've lived in this area for, going on 10 years now. And I was on staff at a church like right down the road. And so we did see 242 as like, well, it is just the big fun attractional church that everybody goes to. And, it's the mega church in town. And like to be able to see that shift of like intentional creativity and not just being creative to be creative, I think is like, it's important. I think it's something to think through. Not that being creative, I mean, there's definitely like conversations that we have where like, oh, we could do this like really differently or really creative. Yeah. Just to do it creative. Like, like I don't want to like knock that. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and that shift, like it literally changes the kinds of events we do.
Yeah.
Like I know, at least at our campus here, like we just stopped doing stuff because it didn't make sense anymore. Yeah. Like maybe it did before, because the fun, energetic attraction thing was like, that was the goal, but that's shifted. Like our goal is discipleship and helping people take the next step. So it's like cut stuff out of our calendar on purpose.
Right.
And it's made way more room for being intentional. So I'm curious what you guys think. Like there's creativity, like art for art's sake, which is cool and it's got its place. But then there's creativity with we call them guardrails or a sandbox. And I'm wondering how, like in your areas of influence, where does that come into play, or where have you seen it, like in the last year and a half? Because I think that's where a lot of churches, like they maybe don't have the freedom to just create stuff for fun, because it's the one worship guy that has a Canva Pro account. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
That's
love Canva.
Totally
One
me.
DSLR.
We're going
Sponsor
to the conference.
us. Canva conference 2026.
But like,
we'll just bring the new babies.
Yeah.
Call it good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, sometimes you just like, you have to be creative for this thing.
Yeah.
Art for hire, right?
Yep.
That idea.
I think one thing that I've come to, because this was something I've had to like basically come to grips with over this last year, is like when I feel like we have this conversation in the office a lot of like, we'll be sitting at our desk and we'll be like working on individual projects, and somebody will ask a question and like, do I do it this way? Do I do it that way? And like, I could be more creative if I go this route, or I could just get it done and go this route.
Right.
I ultimately think that like a question church creatives should be asking, especially the guy that's got he's the only one, he's wearing 10 hats, is like, what actually moves the needle of like effectiveness? And sometimes you might not be able to answer that question, but like asking the question like, okay, does this move the needle? Yes or no? If you can say no, then it's probably not worth doing. It's probably, you probably can be spending your time doing something else. Like I think of like different videos. We did a video. It was just like a talking head video of our senior pastor for a Sunday morning that was being played at all of our campuses. And it was like, the decision was, do we put a pad underneath it or not? And like, it was like a 17-minute video. So I was like, what are we going to do for 17 minutes?
Yep.
And we looked at each other and I was like, it don't move. Like, it doesn't move the needle to put one underneath there.
Yeah.
I can be done with this project and move on to the next thing. Like that's when I think of that, that's where my head goes, is like, all right, am I moving the needle or not? Yes or no? If no, then move on. If yes, then it's probably worth doing.
Something my old boss used to say, it's kind of intense, but I think it's appropriate. We're paid by people's tithe. And so like, and I think you have to take that really seriously. So like, time that you're wasting is somebody's money they gave to the church because they believe in like what we're doing. Yeah. And so like, I think if you can operate with that mindset, don't go crazy about it. Like, cause you'll drive yourself insane. But like, you know, I could be working on a handout and I'm like, oh, type's not set very well. Or like, oh, this bumper, like this animation's a little bit wonky. Coming down to the wire, I could spend more time. I could buy another asset. Oh, okay. Let's talk about assets. I could spend 4 hours doing a custom animation. I could buy a $30 asset.
Right.
And be done. Because the person in the back isn't going to notice if I did the animation on twos or whatever.
Right.
Or like if this, you know, line didn't wiggle the same frame rate as this other one because I messed up in the code. Like, it's all good.
Chat didn't give me the
it's
right
okay,
code.
But it's okay to be like, it's okay to want excellence.
Yeah.
If we're on stage and it's a 1/3, but I hit the 1, that's not correct.
Right.
But
your bass player's holding it down.
Bass player's holding it down. It's all right. It's like you have to like ebb and flow. You'll drive yourself crazy, but like you have to ebb and flow of like time is money, and like output. Like can you as a department or a person, which I think is in like the most cases in the churches in America, like can I efficiently spend this amount of time, this amount of energy on this one single project?
Yeah.
And is it worth it? There's a lot of things we do. They're all important, but
Hey, you say it. There's some that are more.
There are things that are more important.
Yeah.
So this handout that I'm designing, probably gonna get thrown away, just because of the culture that we're in.
Right.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't do handouts. Sometimes maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't order 10,000. Maybe order 5,000.
Hey, tell me how you really feel.
We did that. But like,
they haven't.
You have to like, you have to assess yourself, and it's different in every church. If we're doing a social media graphic, I'll type. Sometimes you'll do one, cause like I'm busy or whatever.
Noah hates my type. He don't like it. He don't like it.
Doesn't matter.
Every time.
It matters. Graphic design matters. Social media matters. Music matters. Hitting the third matters.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world.
Right.
If you like miss that mark.
That's one of many social posts going out, type of thing.
Yeah. They're going to see it. If they see it,
Yep.
Who knows what the algorithm's going to push out?
Yep.
If they see it, are they going to notice that there's a widow down at the bottom or a double space here?
I don't even know what a widow is.
Widow's in a text block. Widow's
Nope.
one single word at the bottom. For readability, you don't
it's perfect. It just makes the like bars of the line.
That's fine.
But yeah, it's like
Canva AI generate. It's fine.
Yeah.
Love Canva, dude.
Yeah.
Canva is how we survived.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When we went from 1, 2, 4 to 1 in 8 weeks.
That's crazy.
4 designers.
4
to 1.
designers to 1 in
Yeah.
the span of 8 weeks.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's think, because I think that brings up another interesting point, and we can talk about it in a different episode. But like the idea of output versus excellence.
Yep.
Not that they're mutually exclusive, but the reality is you normally sacrifice perfect excellence for output, or you sacrifice output for excellence. So we can talk about that in another episode. Ultimately, like church creative, we'll land on this. Church creative can look very different in all sorts of different churches. It does. It looks different.
It probably should too.
And it probably should.
Mhm,
Like the reality is like if you do only have one guy, you will have to choose priority. Like you will have to prioritize things that we might not have to in our space.
Right.
Or we might not have to make that decision.
Yep.
Because we
Right.
can prioritize more.
Yeah.
But I would say like our hope through these conversations is that like people listening are able to walk away with something that can help you reach more people at your church, and be more creative and just learn with us along the way. So, boys, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's left the group chat.
Yeah.
It's out of the chat. We still have a chat
Podcast.
though.
We still
have
a
a group
chat.
chat.
Yeah.
What we do, and normally it's like
You made the profile pic the brand
the
logo,
logo,
which is
That's-
nice touch.
That's
Nice
me.
touch.
It's a digital guy, knows what he's doing. So, sweet. Let's wrap up and on to the next one.